Hi guys, Togo here with a new video. In this video will be my should you main monk in World of Warcraft Dragonflight PvP. And you will see the timestamps below where you can go to specific section of this video, but I recommend to of course watch everything to help me and support my channel. So we will talk about the class tree, we will talk about the Mistweaver tree, and we're going to talk about the Windwalker tree. And I'm not going to talk about Brewmaster because again, like I said, I'm not going to cover tanks in these videos because I'm not going to actively promote tanks in PvP, but I might one day maybe make a video about specific tanks for RBGs or for solo shuffle, since they are like changing a few stuff here and there, and if they are actively balancing tanks in PvP, then I might maybe be interested, but for now I'm not really interested since they are not doing active balancing changes for tanks. So let's start right away with the class tree, and the class tree is, in my opinion, really well laid out. Do not take this class tree and the Mistweaver class tree too serious because I'm testing a lot of things. Like I went with a super aggressive build with the Mistweaver monk class tree. Like I went for damaging talents, like for example fast feast, and I went also with the crane style gameplay where I'm actually going melee, but in solo shuffle with actually no gear because I have like 66k health, which is not enough to actually enjoy ranked solo shuffle at this stage of the expansion, at this stage of Shadowlands, I would say. And I can't really test it as much, but I have gathered a bit of information from other streamers, other YouTubers about Mistweaver, and they are telling me that Mistweaver is probably one of, if not the best healer at this very moment for solo shuffle, ranked solo shuffle, or even in 3v3, because you have a lot of healing at your disposal. You have crazy CDs that you can use, and in this meta, crazy CDs is kind of shaping it to be very good in PvP at least. But we will see whenever Dragonflight will come out where Mistweavers are going to be placed. But let's talk about the class tree. So there's a few things that you should note. You have Soothing Mist as a talent, which can be taken by Windwalkers, but I feel like pretty much if you take Soothing Mist, it is pretty much to get Vigorous Expulsion, maybe Grace of the Crane, and then go even further beyond into the defensive talents. But I feel like you could just skip over it. The good thing is, if you take Soothing Mist, you do get improved rolls, you get another roll, and you can basically play with 3 charges, which makes you very, very mobile. You also get Rising Sun Kick baseline whenever you get Windwalker spec, and Tiger's Lust is really easy to get for any spec. So basically you can play with Tiger's Lust with 3 roll charges or even cheat torpedo, so you can really be super mobile but also give the mobility to your allies via Tiger's Lust. You also get paralysis very, very soon in the tree, with a way to even reduce the CD to 30 seconds, which is very good because again 30 seconds is kind of the best thing to have to actually avoid DRs. Spearhand Strike is now also on the class tree, which makes that a Mistweaver monk can actively interrupt casting abilities. So now you could really be a poison for the casters. It was already very hard for casters to actually kill you because you are very mobile, you can just run around pillars, but even then, if they're next to you, you can just Spearhand Strike and just run away. So I think it's a very good thing to have, especially in ranked solo shuffle, where a good interrupt on the said healer, especially if you're playing a melee kind of healer with the invoker Shiji Direct Crane. I feel like having a interrupt for 15 seconds CD, it is something that is actually very noticeable and very fun to play around. You do get a few things that are going to be very, very noticeable in game. You have diffuse magic and dampen harm, so you have a lot of CDs to actually keep you alive, and you have the possibility to improve your fortifying brew into having more armor or even increased dodge, so you could also dodge some spells or some melee strikes, so that's also very nice to have just to be more tanky. But you can also just see reduce the CD and be done with it and have a 2-minute CD on fortifying brew. I think, or is it 4 minutes? I don't know. It's weird that it's a 4-minute CD. Anyways, to reduce it from 6 to, I guess, 4 minutes. I'm going to try to see, because that's the first time I'm actually looking at the minutes. It's a 6-minute CD, so you will have to go for this in arenas, because then you cannot use it. If it's over 5 minutes, you cannot use an ability in arenas. Like for example, Lay on Hands is not usable in arenas. Well, Fortifying Brew being a 6-minute CD will not be usable, so you have to take this if you want to be able to use it in PvP. But that doesn't really matter. They did nerf the CD, at least on Fortifying Brew. But you have Fortifying Brew, Dampen Harm, Diffuse Magic, and you have a lot of great stuff. Like for example, again, a Spirit Hand Strike. If you can interrupt someone, it is valued as not getting hit by said spell. So I think it's the best defense to be very offensive. You can also improve your Rising Sun Kick as a Windwalker, but also as a Mistweaver, so you can actually do some meaningful damage with Rising Sun Kick. You see, like on my tooltip, I have 6k physical damage. I think I also have the wrong weapon on, so it could be even higher. If I'm taking the restoration weapon, I think I have now 7.7k physical damage. Since it's physical, it's reduced by armor, reduced by also versatility. But I would say critting someone for 10k, 12k damage at least on someone in PvP, it's quite noticeable, because it's 10% of said health, and you can really participate with doing some damage here and there. You have, of course, Escape from Reality, which is a legendary that you were playing as a Mistweaver sometimes to escape some nasty setups. Now it is free, literally on the class tree, so you will get it for just 2 points. You can also just play with 1 point, because basically you are actually improving the healing on Vivify. So I could also just play with just 1 point on Escape from Reality to get the first tooltip, and the second tooltip is not really as important, and you can just go for the left side, for example, increasing the healing taken from all sources, and also the expel harm critical healing that is increased by that talent. But for now I'm playing like this, and I think I'm very surprised. I just see a few things where I'm not really super convinced. Like for example, resonating fists and summon white tiger statue. I feel like those are really boring spells for Windwalkers, at least in PvP. I think in PvE it will be probably nice to AoE people down, but in PvP people will just run away from that. It's like they are not going to stick near the statue if they see the white tiger statue, which is quite noticeable as well, and you will see weak auras and whatever, so you just can walk away and that's it. So I feel like Windwalkers are not going to go as deep. They might just go for resonating fists and then go on the right side to get reduced damage taken with bounce back. Same for Black Ox statue, not usable in PvP. So yeah, I feel like the class tree is not as sexy as other class trees on the game, at least from Dragonflight. But I would like to see them change a few things here and there in mid-season or on 10.1 if they want to make it a bit more fun to play around, I would say. Alright, let's talk about the Mistweaver Monk spec tree. And I must say, I'm very, very surprised on how they're actually dealing with the possibility to fist weave and the possibility to just stick with healing. You have also a few interesting things, like let's say Zen Pulse, which is something that you can use to do damage but also heal. It's a 30-second CD. Will it be used a lot or not? This is another question, but it has only 500 mana, so it is a efficient healing spell, so you can heal for a lot if you are hitting a lot of people. I think in RBGs it might be one of those best spells out there that you will have to play with, but in arenas it's a bit niche. Like I think in 2v2 you don't really need Zen Pulse, so you could just skip over and take Front of Life or Uplifting Spirits or whatever to progress into the Invoke Jade Serpent or Invoke Red Crane. So you have like basically a playstyle where you can play around Live Cocoon being super big with Calming Coalescence. Basically, this is the ability that will give you literally a second life bar. So people that will get cocooned will not die, at least not directly. It will give you enough time to actually put some healing on that target, especially since you are actually improving said healing on the person that is going to get the life cocoon. You have a lot of like passive healing through activating Thunder Focus T. You get some healing there. Same whenever you're activating Yulon or Chiji, you do get also extra healing from that spell. You have a lot of great things here and there. I think all in all, if you want to resume the Dragonflight spec for Mistweaver, it is actually just making it better. I think literally it is getting better because you do get Ring of Peace on the class tree and you get Song of Chiji. So you have CC and you have Disruption, and those two together makes it actually very nasty to play around. If you do get like stunned by the healer, and then Song of Chiji, you are out of commission until someone dispels you or breaks because of damage. But if you are like trying to trying to get the Mistweaver, because basically you want to kill the Mistweaver, and he's like stunning you behind the pillar and then Song of Chiji, it gives enough time for the Mistweaver to actually participate into the match and be noticeably annoying to deal with. I think having a lot of things tied to doing damage is a good start for Mistweavers. Now, I don't know if people will play this playstyle because, again, you will have to be up and going to actually be able to do a lot of healing from melee strikes and melee abilities like Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, and Tiger Palm. Again, this build is not the best one because, again, I think you should maybe remove Invoker's Delight and go for Ancient Teachings if you are like playing a more melee playstyle, so you get a lot of healing from Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm every time you're using Essence Font. And I think you will have 5 more points anyway, so you can spend it on Feline Stump. You can then improve it even more with Ancient Concordance, and you can also take Tea of Serenity or Tea of Plenty with Awakened Feline. You will have a lot of healing through just kicks and being up there, but you will be more easily killed by the DPSs depending on the comps. If a Subtlety Rogues is on you and you have no escape, you're probably going to die. Of course, you still have some great things like Escape from Reality and Eminiscence, so it means that you can really outplay a lot of people, but you cannot outplay all the time, so that makes it a bit more risky to play that playstyle. So all in all, I think it's a very good spec. It will be very fun to play around. You still have Revival being strong. You also have Restoral, which is going to heal you while stunned. So you have a possibility if you're playing versus a lot of like annoying stun, like people that can actually stun. I think Restoral will be one of those spells that are going to be very interesting because you can then cast while stunned, do a lot of great healing from that, and actually survive a lot of damage that you should not be able to survive previously in Shadowlands. So I think people will switch Revival with Restoral if they are playing versus melees, and if they are playing versus casters. I think the best way to actually win is to have Revival to actually clear all the magical, poison, and disease effects. I'm very, very happy with the tree. I think a lot of people are actually happy with the tree. Now it just is based around balancing. So if they are balancing it correctly or not, if it's going to be very strong or not, that's a whole other discussion that I'm really willing to take and to discuss after Dragonflight has come out. But to be sure about what I'm going to say, it is currently the best healer. but it might change whenever Dragonflight is coming out, because there is a lot of active balancing on all fronts, and if there is a clear winner in PvE and PvP, it will get nerfed eventually. Now, I hope they will not nerf the utility, because that's basically why Mistweaver couldn't be good in PvP. And the healing throughput, I think if they nerf it a bit, it would be fair to, let's say, play against. Because if you have to always go for the Mistweaver to actually win games, it becomes very annoying to actually chase Mistweaver down, right? So should you main Mistweaver Monk, I would say you should definitely try Mistweaver Monk if you are a healer main. It is something that is not for everyone. It was always one of those specs that are really not played a lot. Over the course of Mist of Pandaria, Walls of Draenor, and etc. It's always one of those specs that are not really popular, but you will always face like those one tricks that are very good with their Mistweavers, that are actually very potent with that spec. And I would say if you're a healer like main Holy Priest, Disc Priest, or whatever, you should at least try Mistweaver, and maybe you would like it, maybe you don't, but it is a fantastic spec coming into Dragonflight. So let's now talk about Windwalkers. And Windwalkers is... it is doing a lot of damage. I'm not going to talk too much about numbers, because they are still going to nerf and buff specs until Dragonflight is going to come out, and even then the first season is not directly beginning, so they can still change a lot of stuff in that first or 2 weeks coming into Dragonflight. So I would suggest to just look at the design. I know it is tempting to actually see how much damage they are doing. They are doing a lot of damage, guys, especially in pre-patch, but also on the beta. They can destroy people like in 1, 2, 3, but you need to look at for yourself, right? So there is obvious a few things that you can play around, and I think that's what is going to be very fun with Windwalker. You have a lot of design choices that you can make within that spec. You can go for a more of a blackout kick build with like shadow boxing threads. You can go for more of a spinning crane kick build with Dance of Chi and going for Mark of the Crane. So you try to tag everyone to get the most damage possible with your spinning crane kick. You can even go for even further beyond, to go back to bonus brew. Something was always good in PvP Shadowlands. You can go back towards that, improving it even more. You can also go for a touch of death build, but I would say that's more for PvE. And you can also go for more of a summon, invoke Zhuan the White Tiger, doing a lot of damage with the summon. And whenever you're summoning it, it is a mini burst combo, and then you can just like pair it up with, let's say, a Storm, Earth and Fire, or even Serenity. You have a lot of great things. You can also go for Serenity and play with the talents. I think Spiritual Focus will be also available for the Serenity users, so you will still have a 1-minute CD on a great CD, offensive CD. So I think by itself it's a great choice to have. I still think Storm, Earth and Fire is the better DPS CD, but it is more, or at least easily usable with Serenity. Serenity is something that you're going to pop, and you only have to focus on your rotation, while Storm, Earth and Fire, it can get rooted, it can get feared, and then there you are with your CD that is not really going to do anything for you. So you have a lot of choices to make that too. You have also Strike of the Windlord. I think this is coming back from Legion, if I'm not mistaken. It is something that is going to do insane amount of damage, and it is not going to be like something that is going to do top damage on your meters, but it is something that you're going to press, and the guys in front of you are going to melt. Basically with this and Thunder Fist, which is also going to discharge nature damage, which is fantastic to use just in general to do a lot of damage. So you also have a Fist of Fury build. You have also like talents that are going to improve your Rising Sun Kick. So you have a lot of great things to actually choose from to get a better grip on the design that you want to make for your monk. Teaching of the Monastery is also coming back of a not config. I don't know if it's going back or for it was like something Legion or not, but at least it was something for Mistweavers in Shadowlands. Now it's going to be something for Windwalkers. This was also available in Torghast, if I'm not mistaken. It was always fun to play around with Blackout Kick. So you do Tiger Palm, Tiger Palm, you have a 3-stack, and then you go for your burst rotation, you go for Storm, Earth, Wind and Fire, you do a stun, and then Blackout Kick, it does 3 times, and then Rising Sun Kick, Fist of Fury, and then you can do your burst rotation again, and someone is going to die. So I think it's also a very fun playstyle by itself. You also have Invoker's Delight coming back as a talent instead of a legendary, and 33% haste is something that is going to be very noticeable in game. Some people were playing with it, and you can also play with Skyreach, so you can basically play with 2 legendaries in one build, which is actually very easy to get if you're going for the middle route. So you get the 50% increased critical strike chance, and then you can go for your burst rotation, invoking your celestial, getting that haste, and doing even more damage. And yeah, coupled with the PvP talents, which Alpha Tiger can give you also 20% haste, you will get insane amount of haste without even itemizing for it. So it's something very, very noticeable and enjoyable to play around. I think it is still a calling. I'm going to be honest, the probability that I am going to main Monk is very low, because I just don't really like the fantasy of a Monk. I think without even playing, I'm more inclined to playing Evoker than Monk. But I can understand why people like Windwalkers, and I can also understand why people like Mistweavers. And I'm very happy for you guys, because again, playing with the one build or even 2 builds, I think there were like 2 builds that you could play in Shadowlands, like a Kirin style or more of a Necrolord style with those Dance of Chi procs where you're going to exploit someone. But now with this iteration of talents, you're going to have a lot more play styles to play around, which is Fist of Fury or Blackout Kicks or those summons. Or you can go for a Bonder's Brew build, or you can go for even a Phaline build if you really so desire. I think it's more of a PvE build or a Mythic Plus build, I think. But you can do a lot of things, and the sky is really the limit for that spec. And I think I'm very happy for you guys. Numbers wise, you should really not look at it for now, because it will get changed. It will get buffed or it will get nerfed, and that's for every spec. So should you main Windwalker Monk in Dragonflight PvP? And I would suggest to main Monk if you like to play a setup kind of character. So if you play Subtlety Rogue, you know what I mean. You are going to set up, and then they're popping their trinkets or they're popping their CDs. You try to run away. You have your teammate to actually peel you off from the target. And you go back with a Storm, Earth, Wind and Fire with a great AoE stun, and you're going to obliterate someone. That's more of a setup playstyle. You're not going to play like a warrior where you're always going to be in their face, because then you're going to get blown up. But you can also play that playstyle with these talents, but you should know that you're very squishy. You have no real talents that are going to say, look, I'm going to survive any damage. That's not going to be possible for you guys. I think the many defensive capacities that you're going to get are from the class tree. And yes, diffuse magic and dampen harm and fortifying brew and having instant vivify heal is something that is going to be noticeable. But you know that you are like a rogue, you're very squishy, you're going to die in one stun if you're like not careful. So you need to play more of a setup based character and class. And if you like those kinds of characters, I think Windwalker is definitely for you. If you want to be more of a mindless warrior bruiser type of gameplay, I would then suggest to go for warrior or even demon hunters, or even I would say retribution paladins or something like that, where you're going to be on their face all the time, try to peel the allies, trying to do a lot of disruption, and then go for a kill. So it depends about your playstyle. If you're more of a setup guy, I would say Windwalker. If you're more of a burst, a brawler guy, I would then suggest warriors, demon hunters, retribution paladins. I would even say enhancement shaman, those kind of play styles. So thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you. Again, let me know what you think about monks. Let me know what you think about the classes and the specs as a whole. I think Dragonflight is going to be insanely fun. Every spec I'm trying is actually very fun to do and to play. I think I will beat the record of the amount of alts I'm going to play, because that's going to be insane. Normally I only play around 6-7 characters here and there, but I'm seeing that a lot of great stuff, a lot of great specs, a lot of great possibilities to enhance gameplay, enhance content, enhance to have fun, actually, because you play a game to have fun. And I think Dragonflight will be a very fun expansion, and you can quote me, you can also just link me back to this video that I told you that this is a very fun expansion. And I truly think that it's going to be a very fun playstyle and expansion to be. So thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you. Tomorrow you will see the Demon Hunter should you main Dragonflight PvP video. I'm going to talk about Havoc. I'm not going to talk about the tank spec. It will be a short video, but I think it will be a very fun video because there's a lot of changes in Dragonflight for Demon Hunters. I'm excited to talk about with you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and be sure to be safe. We will catch each other very soon with a new video. Bye.